Well, she sneaks around the world from Kiev to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me, where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego?
Steal their soul in South Korea.
What comes to mind when I say the name Carmen Sandiego? Is it the old DOS game? Or is it the old PBS game show? How about the Saturday morning cartoon? Or the Netflix series? Any way you slice it, that name is as relevant as Minecraft and Call of Duty. But when did it start? And how did it get to the point that a simple little educational game from 1985 became a household name? In today's episode of Retrodocs, we're going to talk about where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, the games, and beyond. Let's go back in time to the year 1985, when a small little company known as Broderbund and one of their developers by the name of Dane Bigham wanted to try his hand at creating a text-based game similar to Colossal Cave Adventure. But instead of using text-based interface, he wanted to create a menu-driven game instead and to be played on the Apple II. The basic concept was going to be a game where the player would chase down criminals, but Broderbund's founder, Greg Carlson, had the idea to make it more geographical based, and to have the game shipped with a world almanac so the player could use it for research while playing the game. However, Bigham was not initially thrilled by the concept, so he just wanted to focus more on the interface, where Greg hired David Sikafin to write the story. He started creating various criminal personas as well as the game's main villain, Carmen Sandiego, and he wanted to make her a female to attract new females to play the game as well. So with all that, it was expected to have all the villains work for an organization known as VILE, which stood for Villains International League of Evil. And the player was working for the Acme Detective Agency as a recruit, chasing down each member of VILE using geographical clues, working the way up to going after Carmen herself. The game became a massive hit on the educational market and was used in classrooms all over the world from 1986 to 1989. Broderbund then followed the first game with Where in the US is Carmen Sandiego, followed by Where in Time, followed by Where in Space, and followed by Junior Detective. Soon Carmen Sandiego made her way to TV 3 times. From 1991 to 1996, PBS aired the game show Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, where contestants played the role of an Acme recruit and were asked questions as they chased vile henchmen and ultimately into the final round chased down Carmen herself. It did have a short-lived sequel focusing on periods in time, but was ultimately cancelled with the reason being that the premise had run its course. Fox then had aired the animated series Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego from 1996 to 1999, which had 2 main characters who were tasked at trying to find and hunt down Carmen herself. Sadly, Broderbund soon no longer existed in 1998, but that wasn't the end of Carmen since the Learning Company took over the franchise in 1998 to the present day, and starred Lynn Thigpen as the chief and Greg Lee as his special agent in training new recruits. But the show's most memorable component was the a cappella group Rockapella, who sang the game's theme song. The game was made up of 3 rounds. Round 1 was a basic trivia segment where the players had to answer questions, and the 2 players with the highest score went on to the next round, where they had to get all the items needed to get the loot and warrant to arrest the henchmen. And the last round was where the winner of the second round was asked questions about the locations around the world and had to place flags in the correct spots on the floor-sized map of the world. And if they got all of them correct, they captured Carmen and was awarded a trip anywhere in the United States. PBS tried to follow this up with Where in Time was Carmen Sandiego, with Thigpen reprising her role as the chief, but Kevin Shinick as Time Pilot Squadron Leader. The game was very similar to Where in the World, however, the last round is where things changed. The last remaining player who advanced to the final round had to pass through a series of gates, that only opened when the player answered a question relating to a period in time correctly. If they answered wrong, they had to do a task with a 90-second time limit to open the gate. After passing through all 6 gates, the player would capture Carmen and win a personal computer. Fox aired Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego, following the adventures of Zack and his sister Ivy, who were two teenage agents led by the Chief, a Max Headroom-like entity, in their effort to stop Carmen and her henchmen from stealing artifacts around the world. Netflix, in 2019, produced another animated series titled Carmen Sandiego, where Carmen was neither a hero or a villain, but was hired by Vile in the early stages, but soon turned against them to stop them once and for all. Soon the franchise branched out in other forms, such as books, comic books, and board games. However, in the 90s, the Oregon Zoo ran a summer-long event titled Where in the Zoo is Carmen Sandiego, where zoo patrons played gumshoes and hunted down actors portraying Vile henchmen, as well as periodically an actor playing Carmen would appear. In 2016, NPR ran a series paying homage to WINWCS contest called Where in the Mall is Carmen Sandiego, where people had to figure out what store Carmen and her henchmen were all at. It was part of a podcast called Ask Me Another. Their brand was licensed all over, and in 2017, Yakima, Washington held a scavenger hunt called Where in the Valley is Carmen Sandiego. You can guess the premise for that. My final thoughts are this. Growing up, playing this game as a kid was always fun. I had almost every PC version of the game that I could get my hands on. Where in the US, where in the world, where in time, and where in space. The game has made learning fun, and now being an adult, I can see why they made their way into classrooms back in the day. As well as I love watching the old PBS game show, and the animated series in Fox as well. I sadly never get a chance to see the Netflix series, but maybe I can still find it, and I will review it someday. No, I never made it far enough into the game as a kid to finally get a chance to capture Carmen herself. Well, I have to head back to the Acme Detective Agency and retrain to find Carmen. So I'm Paul saying peace out and stay frosty. As the closing credits roll, I'd like to thank my loyal Patreons, and if you wish to donate to Patreon, there will be links down in the description down below as always, along with a link to my merch shop as always as well if you wish to support the channel in any way. Again, just a reminder, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, don't forget to hit that notification bell, and please leave me a big thumbs up and a comment down below. Again, I'm Paul saying peace out and stay frosty.